This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some big update to share with you. Inflation may hit Social Security recipients 2 times. Also, I'll give you the latest payment schedule for Social Security recipients. When it comes to inflation, the White House economic advisor says that there's nothing transitory about it. He actually admits it. I'm going to play you the video clip of what he says there. We'll also talk about the new child tax credits of $130, $500 checks going out in one state, and $1,000 checks going out in another state, and I'll give you some other more important updates as well. Hope you're having a terrific Tuesday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving $200 checks to my subscribers. I have details of how you can potentially win down in the description below this video. Let's get into it. So inflation may hit Social Security recipients twice. How is this possible? So another way to say it, how soaring inflation may deliver a higher tax bill, especially for retirees, homeowners, and high earners. So basically, annual inflation rose by 9.1% in June, growing at the fastest pace since 1981. And while the IRS adjusts some previous provisions of the tax code every year for rising prices, others remain unchanged. Some retirees may feel the sting since the income limits for taxes on Social Security benefits stay the same. So the reason why it's really bad for Social Security recipients is because not only is inflation bad to begin with, but how it's being taxed for Social Security recipients. So if we look at this chart right here, tax brackets for 2022, married and filed jointly, so you could see 10% of taxable income if you make less than $20,000 there. And then low limits for taxes on Social Security benefits. So currently up to 85% may be taxable if adjusted income, levy-free interest, and 1/2 of Social Security benefits exceed $34,000 for single filers and $44,000 for married couples. So basically, the way the system works is if you're on Social Security or any other type of Social Security benefit, the idea is they want your income to be as low as possible so you could keep getting the benefits. The only problem is with the income being so low and then the price is going high, something's got to give. You got to give up food or something to pay the bills and keep things going. So really sad situation there. When it comes to Social Security payments, the COLA Social Security Payment Schedule 2022, Americans could see checks up to $4,194 in days. How to get the extra cash? So basically, the way it goes is the COLA increase. If it goes higher, it could boost the benefits an extra $133 if it's going to go into effect. This would go into effect officially in October. And the way things are going right now, if inflation stays this high or even higher, the COLA could go higher as well. So it could increase for a maximum of $336, and the maximum would be $4,194 a month if you could get the max on that. In terms of payment schedule, if your birthday is between the 11th and 20th, you'll receive your check on the 20th. So meaning tomorrow, Social Security checks should go out, and if your birthday is between the 21st or later, your check will come out on July 27th. So little Social Security update right there. And then when it comes to the chief economist at the White House, so Chief Economist Jared Bernstein admits there's nothing transitory about inflation. So when it comes to inflation, he basically admits that inflation is not transitory, meaning that it's here to stay and it's probably going to get even worse. Take a look at what he has to say here, because I think it's really important that we hold these politicians accountable. Take a look at what he says right here.
Here to talk about all of this is economic advisor to President Biden, Jared Bernstein. Thank you for coming in. Let's talk about that inflation report. Your former colleague in the Obama administration, Jason Furman, called it brutal, adding there is absolutely nothing good in it. Larry Summers says nobody can suppose that inflation is under control. And in his statement, President Biden dismissed it as out of date. If you don't think 9.1% is the inflation rate for last month, what is it?
Well, first of all, let's be clear. The president himself said repeatedly after that report came out that inflation is unacceptably high. Remember, this is a president who grew up in a family where issues like the price of gas, the price of food were kitchen table issues. So he has dispatched his team to do everything we can to ease price pressures. It is his top domestic economic priority. Now, in terms of the out of date, I think what the president meant there is since that report came out, the price of gas is down about 50 cents a gallon. Okay, that's about the fastest decline in about a decade. It is still way too elevated. Let's make that clear. And we have more work to do in that space, but it gives Americans a little bit of breathing room at the pump. Now, there are key other aspects, you've actually mentioned some of them, that this president and the Congress, Democrats are lined up here, can undertake to improve the affordability of prescription drugs and health.
I'm going to talk about that in 1 second, but let's talk about what you mentioned, breathing room.
Yeah.
Democratic lawmakers, a lot of them, they don't agree that that message is working. I'm sure you've heard it. President Biden said that declining gas prices, just like you said here, are providing more breathing room for American families, but the national average is still over $4.50. And I want you to listen to what Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin told me this week. When people come up to you in Wisconsin in the grocery store or at the gas station and ask you about high prices, is that what you would tell them, that the data is out of date?
Certainly not. It is great news that in the last month, gas prices have gone down by about 40 cents per gallon. That's really not the break people are looking for.
So when you say breathing room, you understand that there are people out there saying, I'm not feeling breathing room, I'm feeling crunched.
Absolutely. That is well understood. But if we're going to talk about the damage that these high energy prices are having on family budgets, I think we have to talk about the benefits for when those prices come down a little. I've been very clear, more importantly, the president is unequivocal by not calling mission accomplished on any of this. We're talking about a decline that is completely insufficient when it comes to really delivering the relief to family budgets that they need. So that's why he continues to push on every aspect he can of this issue in terms of increasing the supply of global energy to help mitigate that price increase.
And you're right, the prices have come down, which is a good thing. It's better than them going the other way.
You've got to get the trend going in the right direction.
Okay, so on that, the Washington Post is reporting that the Treasury Department says that the oil price could soar 50% after, even actually more than 50% after the European sanctions on Russia kick in on Russian gas. So the question is, are analysts who are predicting that that might make gas prices $6 a gallon accurate? Could prices actually go back up?
So a lot to unpack there. First of all, you talked about the price of oil. I should have mentioned this earlier. While the gas price is down about 8 or 9%, the oil price is down about 20%. So when we talk about the president doing all he can to provide relief at the pump, one of the things that he's doing is trying to nudge these companies to pass some of those savings along to consumers. You know, in the first quarter of this year, some of the biggest oil companies had a net profit of $35 billion. Now, these are companies that we helped to the tune of billions of dollars during the pandemic.
But will prices go back up?
During the pandemic, I'll get to that. During the pandemic downturn, they ought to share some of that profitability with the American people right now, especially as we're supporting Ukraine's efforts in their war against Russia. So look, nobody can see reliably around the corner when it comes to those prices, talking a couple of quarters away. So I would say really don't pay a lot of attention to those forecasts because it's just too much volatility. What I can say is that I think it's very likely that gas prices continue to track down, say, for the rest of this month. And I say that because not just the oil price is down 20%, but wholesale prices are down as well, and those two tend to track each other. Again, Dana, look, this is minutiae. We have so much more work to do, and when it comes to prescription drugs and healthcare premiums, as you said in your introduction, Democrats are there.
And I promise we're going to get to that, but just one more question about the efforts that the administration is making on oil. The president just returned from Saudi Arabia. He met with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. I want you to look at this image. I know you've seen it. The world has seen it, the fist bump. And the reaction has been swift because this is a man who ordered the brutal murder of a journalist, and then his body was dismembered with a bone saw. Jamal Khashoggi's fiancée said if he were alive today, he would say, "Is this the accountability you promised for my murder? The blood of MBS's next victims is on your hands." Why is he fist bumping a murderer?
Well, Dana, you're talking to an economic policy advisor, and I'm much more able to give you fulsome readout on meetings, not greetings.
Okay, so is there a
let me just-
deliverable out of it?
Yeah, so first of all, the president explained his rationale for this meeting quite fulsomely in a Washington Post op-ed that came out. It's there for everyone to see. Let me quote something Jake Sullivan said, which I think is quite resonant. The president's intent on ensuring that there's not a vacuum in the Middle East for China and Russia to fill, that American leadership and an American engagement will be a feature of U.S. policy in this region. What Jake is saying there, what the president is engaged in here, is trying to stabilize a critical region of this world, something that he has consistently done in his foreign policy work as a senator for many decades. An economically more secure and stable Middle East is important, I think, for the American people.
So that's a long-term goal. Did he actually deliver anything on the road to that from this very controversial meeting?
So we saw Saudi Arabia say that it would increase its capacity for oil production, and I'd refer you to them for more information there. But remember, Saudi Arabia is of course, a part of OPEC, part of the cartel, and the president has been, and some of our other members of our foreign policy team have been pressuring OPEC to increase production. And in fact, a few weeks ago, they talked about doing precisely that for July and August, increasing production by about 50%.
Okay.
So this is very much a part of that kind of an effort.
Okay, let's talk about the domestic agenda and what happened this week. Senator Manchin backed out of negotiations on parts of that plan, the climate crisis, corporate tax increases. President Biden said that the Senate should pass the scaled-down plan to extend Obamacare subsidies, what you were talking about, allowing Medicare to negotiate lower drug prices, for example. I want you to listen to what Senator Manchin said about why he blocked other parts of the agenda.
Inflation is absolutely killing many, many people. They can't buy gasoline. They have a hard time buying groceries. Everything they buy and consume for their daily lives is a hardship to them. And can't we wait to make sure that we do nothing to add to that?
Is President Biden frustrated with Senator Manchin?
I think the president is very much and very compelled to get Congress to work with him on his climate agenda. He's already taken unprecedented action. And I think this is important because if he can find a legislative path to clean energy, the urgency of the problem is so significant that, as he said on Friday, he will find an executive order and rule change path to get there. And I should say, he's already found that path. He'll continue down it. He has invoked the Defense Production Act to ramp up clean energy production in this country. He has helped to kickstart the offshore wind industry. He has set the toughest ever emission standards. He will continue to pursue that with or without Congress. But the urgency of the issue, Dana, is, I think, it is beyond me how anyone could miss it. Over $100 billion per year of cost to our economy based on floods, wildfires, droughts. Look at the geopolitical pressures from this. A Russian petrocrat who's prosecuting a war based on weaponizing fossil fuels. So there is a great rationale to undertake what this president will do, and he will continue to press.
Thank you.
What are your thoughts on what Jared Bernstein said? Do you believe him? Do you not believe him? Did he give good answers there? Let me know your thoughts on that. When it comes to stimulus and stimulus provisions, so child tax benefits, who will be eligible to receive up to $500 in direct payments and additional $130 in child and dependent benefits. So this is going on in the state of Massachusetts. New checks going out, $250 for singles, $500 for couples. And when it comes to, child tax credits and child dependent care boosts, $180 child tax credit and then $310 child and dependent care credit boost. So this is going on in the state of Massachusetts. You could qualify for the checks as well as the child tax credits, as long as you made $38,000 or more and a maximum of $100,000. So basically, if you made between $38,000 and $100,000, you get it as a single filer, and for the for couples, it's $38,000 and $150,000. It's rare you see that. Usually, it's like $0 to $75,000, but in Massachusetts, they want a minimum amount of money made. What are your thoughts on that? Is that a good idea, bad idea? And then when it comes to another state here, exact date, Americans will get up to $1,000 summer relief checks. In July, you could get it sooner by taking action. So this is going on in the state of New Mexico. So $1,000 direct payments reserved for residents who do not file state income tax returns. So the checks started going out in July, and the state expects to finish sending out the payments by July 31st. So July 31st, if you're in New Mexico, you should get that final $500 check, and then it's $1,000 checks for couples. And yeah, a little technical difficulty, but that was it. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
So today I wanted to tell you one thing that you should know. You have to learn. If you don't learn, then you won't be a better person or grow up or anything. So you have to learn by experiences. That was all I wanted to tell you. Be safe, be good, and I'll see you in the next tip of the day.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your time and support. And today, gonna just take it easy with the kids. Yesterday, I was doing some really cool homeschool activities with my daughter Kalea. She just loves the attention. So, you know, just like circling certain letters, circling the letter C, circling the letter D, but man, she just loved it. Loved just me sitting there with her and like helping her out. You know, even though it was like simple stuff, she just loved the attention. So that was pretty cool. Anyways, hopefully you have a great rest of your Tuesday. If you want to check out any of my other videos, you could click up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.